pull a card, and this card is going to represent our new president. We're going to start with that. And interesting enough, I have the Emperor. I would say that yes, he does think of himself probably more like an emperor. But you know, the Emperor card also does talk about you know, someone who has to find balance, someone who has to lead through adversity, that there's going to be a lot of challenges for him as well. But mainly that this card tells me that he's exactly where he needs to be. So even for those of us who were fearful or did not want this particular choice in office, this tells me that it is destiny, that is meant to be. So the best thing we can do is to support and to put that good energy toward him today. You know, it talks about it in the Bible, and I'd say that most of the New Age books as well talk about positivity, and that what you put out, you know, is going to manifest itself, and it really doesn't matter what is going on in the world, but you can choose to put out your best effort to make a positive world, no matter what. So go ahead and think about that today. I'm going to pull another card, and this is going to be a little bit about what our emperor is going to be doing in office, at least this first year. So I'm going to start with that. Let's see what we've got here. So the Knight of Wands. The Knight of Wands, this card represents, first of all, wands to me represents more of a magical feel, someone who manifests, who creates things into the world. And the fact that he is a Knight of Wands, this tells me that Spirit is working through him. It tells me that he has been charged as a steward at this time to bring something forth into the world. And I think that he is going to do just that. I'm going to pull one more card to tell us a little bit about that as well. So I see Justice here, Justice card, and that tells me that I believe he will be just. I believe that he will make better decisions than what maybe we believe that he will. These cards tell me that this is actually a very positive step right now, a very positive thing for our country, that we have the Emperor that's bringing forth divine spirit and that he is going to be just. I do see that, you know, a lot of things he said, I think he was really working toward that vote, and that not necessarily we saw who he really is or everything about him. We may not agree with everything, but I'm sure you have plenty of friends, people that you know that you don't agree with all their opinions, but that doesn't mean that they're a bad person and that they don't do good things in the world. And so these cards tell me that things are going to be pretty good compared to what I'm sure a lot of you believe. So I'm going to pull one more card, and this card is going to tell us a little bit about, not so much him, but about how our next year is going to go. So let's just shuffle through and bring one of these out here. Okay, Page of Coins. Page of Coins, that tells me that the economy is actually going to get better. A lot of people think that maybe the economy is going to go down because of this new change in presidency, but honestly, Page of Coins, it's not the king, the ace of coins, it is a page, but you know what? The page is someone who brings money from one place to another, from one person, like a messenger, and I feel like the page is going to bring money to where it is needed, so that maybe more jobs. I feel like it's just the beginning this year of something very positive. Now, one thing to think about when it comes to Trump is the fact that, you know, he's always been a successful businessman, and he's made a lot of good decisions when it comes to also helping people, not just himself, and working with people. And I feel like he is going to help the country in the same way. It benefits him obviously already. And so everything he does moving forward, I still feel like he has the best intentions for the country. You don't get into a spot like this just for some, spotlight. It's a hard job. And I certainly wouldn't want to do it. There's a lot of hard decisions to be made. But I feel like one thing that he's going to be doing is helping, not just making rich richer, but I really feel like he might be helping those in need as well. So that is positive. I would say that everything that I pulled is pretty positive. I wasn't sure what I was going to see when I pulled these cards today, but I'd say that overall it's a great reading. I'm going to pull one more card here, and let's take a look here. We've got one more question I think a lot of people are thinking right now, and that is what's going to happen with minorities, what's going to happen with a lot of those people that he seemed to not like or that might be in trouble in some way. And I feel like there's not a lot of need for fear here, but let's pull a card. So I see the Four of Cups. Now, with this card, there's a couple things that are going to happen. I feel like there might be a lot of challenges. There might be a lot of challenges for those people that are already in fear. But I really feel like it's about attitude, honestly. Right here, I see there is somebody crying on a dragon, and the other is riding a dragon with great enthusiasm. And I feel like it's really about attitude here. It's about where do you want to go, and are you going to enjoy the ride? Are you gonna fight it? Are you going to kind of sulk? So I feel like there's a lot of good things that can happen if you let them. Again, is it your attitude that's going to change this situation? Is it going to be unhappiness, or is it going to be, I'm going to ride that dragon and make it all work for me? So don't forget that, no matter what your position is, no matter what community you identify with, that you have the choice. You have the choice to continue working at a positive community for yourself. Within that, again, there's power in the people. No matter what president we have, who I consider more of kind of like when you have a rock band, you have the lead singer, and that's who everybody sees and usually knows the name of. And then you have all the other band members who make this band work, but we don't always pay attention to them as much. And I feel like the president is just that. It's like the lead singer, but it doesn't mean he's the whole picture. It means that he has to work with a lot of other people. And of course, there's power in all of us, power in our dollar especially. So make sure that when you are a consumer, when you shop, everything that you do with your money, make sure it goes where you want it to go. Make sure you're conscious of those decisions, like organic foods, or, are you going to buy gasoline for your car? Are you going to buy a bicycle or electric car? There's a lot of ways to show what you want, and the world is changing to reflect that. So don't forget that you have a lot of power in yourself. So I pulled another card here. This is the Three of Swords, and this is to represent basically what other people, other nations are thinking of us right now, because I know that for some reason, this has really caught the eye, this election, of a lot of other countries, a lot of other people as well, who seem to have an opinion about it. I still think our nation is great. I still think democracy is real and exists, and is wonderful that we have it, because there are places that still have dictatorship, or like a queen. We know who we're talking about here, but basically that people don't have a choice with that. So remember that that is still a great thing about our country, that we do have a choice. So the Three of Swords, this is talking about how other people see us. And there's a lot of judgment. There's people kind of looking at us like, you poor nation, or thinking that we're just unruly. And what I see here is a page who's basically going his own way and saying, you know what, I'm going to go this way and leave you guys behind. We still are going to do our own thing. We're still going to rock this thing called the U.S. So I wouldn't worry too much. But it is important not to worry about judgments or worry about how other people see you, because that's one thing that does make America unique and wonderful, is that we all are so diverse, and that we still believe, we have hope, and we believe in our freedom, and that comes down to individuals. So I'm going to do one more thing. I am going to be teaching a free class December 3rd at 4 p.m. at Centerpoint. And I'm going to be teaching using a pendulum. So I'm going to grab one of those right now. I have a bunch of extra here for the class, but I'm going to do one with mine. And this pendulum is wonderful for reinforcement. So I'm going to ask it a question, and I'll just show you real quick. The thing I do with it is, first you show it what the answers are. So this is going to be yes when it goes back and forth, forward, up and down, and then sideways is basically no. And sometimes you have to give it a little time because it has to go in a circle to turn around. So I'm going to ask it a question here. I know I pulled those cards, but I like to do different things. I like to use a pendulum as well. And when you're reading for yourself, it's really important to use tools, because we can really get caught up in, are those my spirit guides talking to me, or is this just my mind chattering? So go ahead and use things like this at home when you're doing your own readings. Sorry, I tend to talk fast when Spirit's talking through me. So here we go. We're going to do a little bit of pendulum work. And the first question I think I'm going to have, feel free to throw in a question if you have one. I'd be happy to read for you if you have one about our subject today. But I'm going to ask about, basically, is Trump a good president for us right now? Let's go ahead and let the pendulum decide that. So you just hold it really still and just see what it says here. Okay, so it's saying yes, it's going up and down. Yes, he's a good president for us right now. It's not a big, fast yes. It's more of a yeah, not a, oh, yes, this is wonderful. But that's okay. I'm going to ask one more question here. I'm going to ask, will Trump help the economy? Will we see some real benefits in our country from him being president? That's a big yes, definitely a big yes. And it feels stronger too. The swinging is stronger. And that tells me that he is going to benefit us. And I feel like it has to do with, benefiting everybody, benefiting the communities, and really giving us way more than we think that we're going to get. I think that there's a lot of fear and misunderstanding, but you have to remember that even the election itself is a really huge showboat, entertainment. So it's really about, hey, what's going to happen now?